The sphere of aggression in the Middle East is expanding, despite diplomatic desperation to keep it restrained. Since October 7, Israel's war on Gaza has drawn in an increasingly widening field of combatants, and the prospect of de-escalation is becoming more and more distant. What began between Israel and Hamas has now encompassed at least half a dozen nations. Hezbollah in Lebanon was the first to join the fray to support its Palestinian allies. Since then, Israel has had to fend off attacks from Yemen's Houthis, as well as Iran's proxies in Syria and Iraq. But Tel Aviv is not alone in the region, and its big backers' show of support has done the opposite of easing tensions. The US deployed warships to the Mediterranean almost immediately and has continued arming Israel's assault on Gaza. It's shielded the country from diplomatic rebuke and still refuses to call for a ceasefire. That's incensed Arab states and Iran, whose militias have launched retaliatory rockets at US bases in Iraq and Syria. Washington has fired back and launched its own campaign to cripple the capabilities of the Houthis, who are disrupting global shipping in the Red Sea. Israel has assassinated militia leaders in Beirut and Damascus, and with US personnel now casualties of the proxy war, it's a powder keg primed to explode.
The blood of these American soldiers is on the hands of Netanyahu, who is refusing American attempts to have an end of the war, refusing the calls by the International Criminal Court to stop the attacks against civilians.
It's going to be a tough line to walk for Joe Biden, who began his presidency with a promise to end the forever wars, particularly those in the Middle East. But his unshakable support for Israel is becoming a political and military liability, at home and abroad. He's now stuck between looking soft on security or taking action which could further risk the lives of American troops.
When there was a ceasefire between November 26th and November 30th, all of the attacks by the Iraqi and the Syrian militias against the United States completely stopped. So if the objective of the United States, which I think it should be, of course, is to make sure that we protect our troops and there are no such attacks against the United States, then a ceasefire seems to be the obvious pathway to go there.
A ceasefire that's more elusive than ever. From Yemen to Lebanon, Israel's opponents say their military activity will halt as soon as Israel withdraws from its campaign in Gaza. That campaign is inextricably linked, however, to Benjamin Netanyahu's political survival, making the likelihood of such a withdrawal slim at best.
We don't know when Israel is going to eventually halt the conflict in Gaza, but I think until we see that, we are in a moment of true instability and insecurity, again, that jeopardizes the lives of many millions of people.
Not a single regional actor wants to see a new war raise the Middle East, but with every step away from a ceasefire, an eruption is becoming almost inevitable. Isabella Bull, TRT World.